I can tell you something. So I just read something that my aunt posted, and what did it say? It said, where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great. So I was just thinking about that, and it's like, well, I really definitely am really, really willing to have a very prosperous and amazing, beautiful life that God has for me. Because He promises that for other people, and that includes me, that includes you. And so it says, where the willingness is great, the difficulty cannot be... Wait, what did it say again? The difficulties cannot be great. So for me, it's like, well, then you could say, okay, but I'm struggling right now to get a job, and I really am willing to want one, but it is so hard to actually get one. And for me, I don't want to look at it that way. I mean, first of all, for two reasons. I've got more going for me than just having a job right now. Not that I don't want one. Like, I want a job yesterday. I've been wanting a job, and like a new job. And while I'm studying part-time, and I'm so, like, I love the studying. Oh my gosh, it's amazing being in Bible school. I love Bible school so much. I'm so glad. I'm actually in the best situation of my life. And I could choose to look at it differently if I wanted to. Of course, there's better coming. Like, I do have plans on getting a new apartment, and I'm still waiting to get my job, and I have to keep applying again because I went through the interview process with these two really great companies, super awesome opportunities, and I didn't get them. Of course, God has better for me, and they have better for them. As long as we both win from the deal. So I really hope that they have gotten the best people for those roles that I didn't get. And I'm just not going to let myself slip back into that depression that I had of feeling like I'm not enough because I don't have a job title right now to introduce myself as, when people are like, hey, what's your name? And I'm like, Khadija, what do you do? And I used to just say, I'm a production coordinator, and then people would want me to explain what that meant, and I would try to explain it with humility, and also in a way that was very simply put, because there's so much that goes into that job, and it's amazing, and the industry is great. Like, it was, of course, like, one of the best jobs I will ever have in my life. Like, seriously, I'm so grateful for that experience. And so when people would ask me what I did, of course, the question, was because I got asked it so much, because when people introduce themselves, that's at a place that's not college, because it's my first time to be in tertiary education since leaving high school. And I left high school, I graduated from high school in December 2015. So, grade 12. And, at this college, I have not been getting asked from people, what do you do for a living? But everywhere else I've gone, where I would, where people, they would, like, specifically church settings, or when you're meeting new people at social hangouts, a typical question that I would get asked, and that a lot of people get asked, is, what do you do after you tell them your name? That's usually the second question. What do you do? What's your job? And people are more likely also to ask what you do when they like how you dress. So, or if you dress a little differently to other people, because it's, of course, people will look at you and assume, wow, okay, they dress this way, which means that they must have a certain amount of money in their bank, like right now as we speak, and it's nothing less than $100,000. So, and then so that was usually the question. And honestly, even though I was tired of the question, I did still like the question. And with that false humility that I had of trying to answer it in a way where it was like, oh, it's no big deal. It was definitely a big deal. I absolutely loved it. And I mean, it wasn't like every interaction I tried to treat it like it wasn't a big deal. I did talk to some people about how I love my job so much and everything but I mean, of course, it doesn't mean that 100% of every day and of every week am going to be answering with that same fire and passion about how much I love my job and talk about in-depth details about what it entails and try to hint at who our clients are and just basically point them to the website so that I don't I don't have to feel bad about not saying much. And because I did sign an NDA with them, and it's not illegal for me to say the clients' names that I worked on. It's public information who I used to work for, and their clients are, wow, it's crazy that I said their clients. I used to always say our clients because, because I worked there, of course. But their client list is on the website, and it's not all of their clients, but it is a lot of their clients. Like, it is a lot of their, but they have not displayed all their clients on the website, so it doesn't give them justice. Honestly, it's the internals of the company is so detailed, so amazing, so wonderful, and there was a lot that I loved about that company that I'm just not going to get into right now. Maybe I could make a different video about it, like my experience there, and it could basically be a review. But at the moment, I want to get back to the part where I was talking about how I was reading where my aunt posted this picture message that said, where is it? Hold on. Where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great. So I'm definitely willing to be employed, like on paper. Like, I know I've been saying I've got a job, I'm employed, I see myself that way. That's why I've been saying that. I see myself that way, but saying it out loud sometimes and writing it down just makes it more real to me. That's why I'm very careful and particular with the words that I use. I don't cuss anymore. I used to cuss a lot from when I was a child. I mean, and I know this because I remembered that I enjoyed swearing. And swearing, cussing. I used to say swearing, but as I've gotten older, I updated. I was like, I'm gonna use the synonym, and I'm gonna update and upgrade my internal software, and I'm gonna start saying cussing. So cussing, I don't cuss anymore. Like, I'll say, oh snap, or oh my god sometimes. And when I was an editor, and I would annotate oh my god for, like, when I would annotate the audio of a feature or a TV show or a trailer or whatever, that any proxy that had the audio where someone said oh my god, or even an on-screen text that said oh my god, and when I would annotate that, I would say blasphemy, and then I would say blasphemy, comma, and I would explain what they were saying in that context. But I would always start the annotation with blasphemy. It's like, I hear other Christians say, oh my God, and then some people are opposed to it. And I I'm putting so much pressure on myself to not say, oh my God. Because I just feel, I don't want to disrespect God, but also the main reason why I'm not putting such pressure on myself to stop saying, oh my God, is because that pressure, my main reason is because I don't want other people to think, oh, I haven't thought of this yet. So it's like, oh, is she really Christian? And that's not a good reason to stop saying, oh my God. So I was like, I'm going to stop saying, oh my God, to respect you, not to look good to other people. So, and then, yeah, what else? So this part of me looking for a job, you could say it is hard. It is hard. So the difficulties cannot be great, what that message was saying. I'm just going to stop seeing it as hard. Like it's, is it really hard? Like this so-called difficulty, it's so worth it. Like, do I want a job or not? So it's like, I would rather just go through the difficulties, inverted commas, air quotes, and the quote, air quotes, difficulties of looking for a job and like waking up early, so-called early. Because I'm from the nightlife. Honestly, I used to work in the Los Angeles day hours. So even this thing of being up during the day, like I'm supposed to be sleeping. But no, like I'm definitely supposed to be awake now. Like I've had to adjust because, I've had to adjust to the day schedule because of this current season that I'm in. But I definitely would not mind working night hours again. Like I loved it. It was amazing. It was my choice. But let me not digress, I did digress already. So let me go back to what I was saying. Yeah, it's like I'd rather just wake up, quote unquote, early every day, consistently, and then consistently just apply for jobs. But not like throw myself at any job, of course. Like I need to make my efforts of focus. So to be focused, like I'm focusing on the jobs that I know I can provide true value in, and also where I find value. Because I'm not just going to apply for, personally, this hasn't made a difference in the number of applications that I've been putting out. So it's not like, oh, you're saying that so that you don't have to focus on like applying for so many jobs, and you just like, you're not gonna have enough opportunities. So you gotta apply for everything. It's like, no, I don't know why I used that accent, but like, and I'm not mocking anyone. So, but I personally haven't not noticed a difference in the number of applications. Like, it doesn't seem like I've been applying for less jobs. I've just been tailoring my job search and focusing on, like I said, the value part, and not just like literally, I don't want to apply below my experience or like what I've already done. So for example, I'm not going to work at Typo again and be like, hey, it's 300 Rand, but it's like on sale. Yeah, it's on sale. Oh no, we have blue as well. Yeah. No, like I've already done that. Like I've got, so why must I go through that again? I am ready for my promotion. And I'm ready for it. Like I am ready for my promotion. I definitely will feel like it's a demotion if I worked at Typo again. And let me tell you, I loved working at Typo. It was amazing. I'm so glad I got to have that experience. But so when I say I've been looking for jobs where I find value and where I feel like I can provide value, it's jobs where I don't feel like I've outgrown those roles. Like I don't want to apply for jobs that I've outgrown. I didn't, and I did sometimes apply for those jobs. So for example, and I'm not trying to say that anyone who's working at Typo, I'm like better than them. I'm not saying that at all. they're going through that experience now. I already went through that experience, so I don't need to do it again if I don't like want to, and it's not necessary for me to do it again. So yes, I have outgrown that role, and they haven't. They're doing that now, and if they have outgrown that role, well, it's time for them to move on, even if it's apparently hard. Like, yes, you know what, I am definitely not interested in putting myself in life-threatening situations so that I become successful sooner. But I am definitely familiar with experiencing what people would call difficulty right before my life drastically improved by like ways where I didn't see it coming, because of my faith that I had in God, and because I didn't give up, and because I wasn't like, well, okay, I guess this is just where I live now. Yeah, this is just how it is. Forever. Oh my God. No. And it's very tempting to feel that way, of course, because it's not to say that I don't wake up at 5 a.m. sometimes and I'm like, oh God, I'm not waking up because I'm excited for work. I'm waking up because I'm like, I need to look for a job, and it's scary, and it's like, oh my word. But it's like, it's actually hard. So, okay, back to what my aunt said, right? She didn't say it like she posted it. Where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great. Like, I actually think it's hard with the difficulties. It's harder for me to feel that way. It's so hard being depressed. I don't want to be depressed, and it's really difficult to be depressed, by the way. I struggle with it. I hate it. It feels gross. So I don't want it, so I'm not going to wear it. Like, yeah, I'm definitely depressed. Yeah, like, oh God, I'm so depressed. Wow. This is going to help me find a job sooner. Like, like, I might get a job tomorrow, maybe, you know, while I'm depressed, and it seemed like that was a good motivation for me to go and look. But no, that was actually me looking out of fear. And it's like, I'm going to get a job anyway. So why be depressed while looking for one? If I don't have to be depressed, like, what's the reason? If the result, because my heart is set on getting, like, continuing in my career. Of course, that's not the only thing that I'm going to do. Of course, I've got other plans while I'm doing that, while I've got a paycheck from an employer, and for a worldly sense of stability, you know what I mean? And then also, so that I can, of course, pay for things, like pay rent again, move to my new apartment, and continue buying protein shakes once every 2 months, because the Harvest Table, I would say, like, I think it lasts, like, every day, using the protein powder comfortably, I think it lasted me 2 months, but I'd never finished it. I gave it away. So it's kind of not really difficult. It's kind of hard to say, but it's the 700 grams one, I think. Yeah, I love the Harvest Table. It's so great. Like, I'm ready to keep buying it. It's healthy. It's great for you. I don't want to be dreaming about, oh God, I wish I would have buy the Harvest Table again. Like, my life was so good. I got to find a job now. Like, I'm gonna get a job. So I'm not gonna trip while I get it, while I look for one. Like, birds don't trip, they fly. I keep saying. And I keep saying that to myself. So this is the first time I'm saying it on YouTube. But seriously, birds don't trip, they fly. And I mean, I have asked, have you ever seen a bird trip? And personally, I actually have. But like physically, like it wasn't a physical accident though. It wasn't, But I mean, have you ever seen a bird trip? Like, let's be real now. Have you ever seen a bird trip? You probably, like, okay, maybe you have, like I have, with your eyes, blah, blah, blah. But like, come on, let's not be literal. You've never seen a bird trip now. Okay, wait. Actually, birds have fought before. Oh, gosh, I'm making this so deeper than it needs to be. My point is, I'm an eagle. And so are you. So if you don't see yourself that way, well, I'm not going to say, well, that's your problem. Let's solve it together. Let's definitely solve it together. Let's look into that. And it's time that you start believing that you're like seeing yourself differently. And, you know, a great foundation for that. Here we go. This is, she's going to bring up Jesus. Oops. Whoa. Oh my God. There we go. There she is. I knew she was Christian. Gosh. Here she goes. Like, gosh, she just wants to talk about all this nonsense. It's always these Christians talking about Jesus. So, yes, it's because of Jesus. Definitely. And I was so depressed these past couple of months. Like, I will say that I definitely allowed my mind to keep going to those places of being like, oh my God, I'm going to lose everything. And, I mean, you could say that I lost everything. But, I mean, I was like, it's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse. I'm so scared. I'm depressed. I'm missing out on life. I'm behind in life, blah, blah, blah. How am I like 27 and I just like was just 26 and I lost it all? Like I was just 26 and I seemingly had everything. And I am now just 27 and I seemingly lost it all. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. That's one way to look at it. That's definitely one way to look at it. I mean, you could say that I lost seemingly everything. But it's like, not really, because that's kind of making God sound like he's broke. Ugh. Which is, so I was like, okay, look, you know, I'm not going to get, my life is never going to be what it was. It's just going to definitely be better. But it's not going to help me if I'm going to constantly be feeling this way. Like, I know that I don't have to feel this way. I know I don't have to. Like, God literally says I don't have to feel this way. I don't need to experience this. I don't need to go back to feeling hopelessness the way I used to feel before I started seeing the light. So I was just like, but I mean, I'm not going to say overnight I felt different. Like, I'm going to be transparent. I was really depressed and I wrote prayer letters to God on my MacBook. And I'm going to say MacBook because I'm proud of it. Like, I still have it. Like, I appreciate it. And, you know, it's God blessed me with it. Yes, I paid for it and everything. But I'm just saying, you know, I cherish that thing. I cherish it. I don't worship it or anything, but I definitely steward it well. I treat it the way it deserves to be treated, and I appreciate it. And so I allow myself to love it and feel good about it without feeling guilty. I'm not going to feel guilty about something I appreciate. I mean, I've always wanted a MacBook, and I've got one. Well, I mean, I've had one for 2 years, but like, to me, it's brand new. I haven't put a cover on it yet, and I know I should put a cover on it, but that's how well I've taken care of it in these 2 years. And I've traveled. I've gone from, like, I've left the province a couple of times with this MacBook, and I mean, or left the state. Like, I mean, I've gone across states with the MacBook, just 2 states, not like my you know, I mean, of course you pass through a couple of states when you travel from state to state, but like literally from, like, in Joburg, I've used it in Joburg, I've used it in Cape Town, and it doesn't have scratches on it, and I haven't put a cover, and I've had it for 2 years. Like, it's got very, okay, you know, I led with that. That was a good selling point when I was like, I've had it for 2 years and it doesn't have scratches on it. It does have, like, on the sides where you charge it, you know, like where you plug it in, some of very, very minor, very barely noticeable. If you look closely, you will see it. You know, like, if you look, then you're looking too closely. Okay, if you see it, you're looking too closely. That's how minimal the MacBook has any marks on it. And I mean, for someone who has used it comfortably in different locations around Cape Town and Joburg, and I mean, I've moved it around a lot and I use it pretty much every day, and I've not put a cover on it, you could definitely say that I've taken very good care of the laptop. And that's just because I appreciate what I have. I mean, because I see it as like, okay, God gifted this to me, even though, sure, I was the one who paid for it. Like, it was, God blessed me with the MacBook, but it was through me that he blessed me. So, but I give God the credit for that. I give him the credit, and I'll give myself a little bit of credit. I'll put some glitter on my body. So, yeah. Anyway, why are we talking about the MacBook like this? Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I was right on my notes on my MacBook, on my notes app, these letters to God. And I knew that I was going to look back at them, and I'm not ready to look back at them. Or maybe just it's not that I'm not ready. I just haven't prioritized looking back at them just yet, because it's not on my list of it's not a high priority to look back at it right now, at them. It was my prayer letters to God. So I was just expressing on the notes what I was thinking, what I would say to God in my head when I would pray to him silently while I was sitting there wasting away in a pit of depression and like feeling like a failure and all that stuff. And I would write, and I was like, if I can be honest with God about anything, I'm not just going to be honest with him when I express how grateful I am for stuff. I'm also going to I'm going to let him be with me in this thing that I'm struggling with, this thing of me processing that I made a mistake and that I quit my job too soon, and that I made some, it was a domino effect of things. Like, even right before, for the month before I quit my job, I knew for about a month that I was going to quit. I knew for a month that I was going to quit, but in that month, with that decision that I made up in my mind, the domino effect of me making that decision before I even physically told my previous employer that, hey guys, I'm resigning. Although there's a story behind that as well, because I didn't start off with resigning. I actually just was going to take unpaid leave and then think about it a little more before making an actual decision, because I was like, no, I need to think about this properly. So I was like, I wanted to take 2 weeks unpaid leave, and I chose unpaid because I just wanted to be this is, I don't want to not to take advantage of them. I just want to take this, I'll just take it unpaid because I need some time to, I told them one story because I thought one thing was going on. There's so much that goes into this of what I told them, but the main reason was actually something else entirely that I didn't tell my employer. Now, it's not to say that I withheld information. The main reason, which I'll be transparent about, and I already have been talking about, is because I thought God told me to do it. But I gave them natural reasons why I quit. So I told them is that I'm trying to avoid having a stroke. And also I did think that I was pregnant. So, and I just felt really strange, my body didn't feel like itself in ways that I won't really be able to describe at this present time. So, yeah, and yes, me as a Christian saying I thought I was pregnant and there's no ring on my finger. So yes, I'm well aware what that means. I fornicated, yeah, okay, I did definitely do that. It's true. And so I thought I was pregnant, and that's actually the least of the reasons why I quit my job, but I did add that to the reason on my resignation email. And like I said, I first actually wanted to just take 2 weeks unpaid leave to think about it first. But then when I was told by one of the managers that I need to make a different plan and there's a process around taking this unpaid leave that you're requesting. So here's another alternative, or we can adjust your shift. You know, she gave me options. So she was, you know, and I decided to take the option of, okay, I'll just resign now then. Thinking, yeah, it's definitely time. Like, this is God saying, just do it now. Like, you don't need the 2 weeks to think about it. Hey, you don't need the 2 weeks to think about it. And you can just resign now. And so I thought that was God telling me to do that. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll just resign now then. And so I resigned with immediate effect after 5 years of service. So, of course, you're not supposed to do that. Like, you should resign and then, like, give yourself a month. Okay, it's usually a month's notice, but they were okay with me taking the immediate, as resign with immediate effect. They were okay with it. So because they were okay with it, I then did the immediate effect. But like, usually you would work a month's notice. So actually, yeah, I don't actually feel bad about that. I did feel bad about that. And I was like, gosh, I should have just worked the month thing. And then I would have still then definitely had more time to think about this. But also, like, I was at a point where I was like, I am not able to work right now. And I genuinely believed that I was not able to do it. Like, I felt like I couldn't. I felt I was at a point where I literally physically couldn't work. And so, yeah, like, I forgot why I brought that up. But that's what I believed. Whether that was true or not, that's what I believed. And that doesn't mean that just because that's how I felt that was true. It was definitely an emotional decision that I don't regret anymore, and I've said this a few times now, but God has turned it for my good. And so I don't want to say that I didn't do all my point of all of that and why I added that in is because I do want to say that when I said that it's hard to be depressed, so I reject it then. I reject it, and I don't feel depressed anymore, and it's not really something that I resonate with. And it's true, and even though I did experience that depression for those few months, and I have like gone through depression before that throughout my life for certain reasons, but it was like there was always like a reason for it. And when I was a child, sometimes I didn't understand why I felt the way I felt, but I of course know what the reason is of course the devil would talk to me, not in terms of like, oh my gosh, like, you're crazy, you need to go to hospital, like, you're insane. But a Christian would understand what I mean when I say the devil would talk to me. But if you say that to someone who's not Christian, I understand how that could sound. So let me try and word that differently, is that the devil will talk, like, God is definitely not talking to you in music about how someone rapping about how he murdered all these people and stuff. And it's like, so when I say the devil is talking to you, like, I'm not gonna go into a whole explanation, but let me just try and like simplify it a bit. Those are horrible lyrics, and those words get into your mind and they poison your mind. So definitely, I don't want to be listening to stuff about how someone has murdered all these people and they're proud of it and they're going to keep doing it. And I don't want to hear about how you cheated on your girlfriend, and I'm listening to all this stuff, and it's in all this music that I'm listening to growing up. So it's like, of course, I mean, those, I had a lot of reasons to be depressed as a kid. But, you know, I had a lot of reasons to be depressed because when I would hear those songs, like, it would make me really upset. But I would still keep listening to them because I wanted to try, and because I liked the beat for one, but also I wanted to try and not be affected by these lyrics. And so how I thought that would help is by me just saying, well, just get over it, like, just listen to it. I mean, it's fine. Just, you know, that doesn't mean that's your life. But it's getting in my head, and it's making me paranoid, and it's like, well, I don't want to be cheated on. And it's like, well, I don't want to be talking about all these murders and stuff and blah, blah, blah. So why am I listening to this stuff? And like a lot of things. I mean, even things like strip clubs is such a common thing in this secular rap music. And I love hip hop, and I still listen to hip hop, but not secular rap music. I mean, I do not listen to who is it? Gucci Mane was one of the first rappers and this is before I was Christian, before I became a Christian. But like, I listened to Gucci Mane. I mean, I stopped listening to Gucci Mane first. And like, that's how it started. I was just like, yeah, like I didn't know that it was a prompting from God. And it's so sweet, and it's so cute how God is such a, like, not a softie, but definitely a softie. Let's call it grace. So I had so much music, and I loved listening to so many different rap artists, but not everyone, of course. I mean, and that still applies for even the Christian hip hop that I listen to. I mean, I still want to enjoy the beat and everything, and I like the beat, and it's like, okay, I'm not taking away from the fact that Travis Scott is very talented, sure, but I don't want to be hearing about, like, the strip club, you know what I mean? So why am I allowing myself to go through this? So one by one, and like I said, and I hadn't picked up the Bible yet, and not to say I never picked up the Bible, but in this season of my life, I haven't picked up the Bible yet and stuff, and was reading about, you know, like, guard your ears, guard your eyes, and all this and stuff, and the outward flow of life thing, like, that scripture about just God, like, protect, you know, you must be vigilant of what you're listening to, and how it really does affect you. And I mean, I already knew it was affecting me, but this is now way before I even came across scriptures like that, or scriptures that relate to what I just said about how you need to be mindful of what you allow yourself to consume. And so, yeah. So like I said, I hadn't picked up the Bible yet, and one day I'm just like, yeah. And this isn't necessarily the first time it started. There were other times where I was just like, oh, just change the song. I just felt like the song needs to change. And then, oh my gosh. Let me actually go back a little further. This is where the prompting started. So it's not even, it didn't start with Gucci Mane. It actually started with Key Glock. Very talented rapper. I do not listen to him anymore because of the lyrics. And yeah, I don't agree with his lifestyle. So, I mean, of course, I don't know I don't know the life of whoever made this type of flask that I'm drinking of. And, you know, I might not agree with some things. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop using their flask. But, I mean, for music and stuff like that, like, I definitely don't support his lifestyle. Yeah, so I definitely, yeah, I mean, I just can't listen to that music. So, but he's very talented, I'll give him that. And so I don't do these things anymore. But years ago, this was maybe 2020. I think it was 2020. Yeah, anyway, sometime around then, I believe it was around then, I took acid, okay? And like I said, I don't do these drugs anymore. So I took acid and I was listening to Key Glock. And I was listening to Key Glock, but now that a few hours had gone by since I had put the sheet on my tongue to absorb the acid or LSD. So then I was listening to other artists, of course, but then Key Glock was playing as well. And okay, I'll say the exact song. No, I won't say the song because then I don't want to tempt anyone to go and listen to it. But it was this. I think it was actually even 2 songs, but I mean there were these. Yeah, I actually liked a couple of his songs a lot, but when his music started playing, my trip started going wonky. So if you take acid, if you drop LSD, meaning if you consume it, basically if you take it, you start hallucinating and you start seeing things differently. Things are a lot more colorful, things are wavy, things move. I mean, you're literally tripping. And so when I say tripping, I mean you're having a high, you're having an experience with this drug that's altered your state of mind and your perception and all that. But in drastic ways. Drastic ways, to the point where you can, you can lose touch with reality in a lot of situations. I mean, you don't have to be high for that, okay? So I won't even mention that. Of course, you can feel like you will mistake what's real for what's not. You can do that without drugs. So, not to be rude. So, yeah. I did that, okay? But I'm not calling myself out now, okay? Let me poop on other people. Shame. Gosh, I'm taking all this responsibility. Shame. Wow. Look at me. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the acid, right? So for example, the taps. So I would play Key Glock would come on immediately as I'm hearing his music playing. The taps start looking like they're melting. The taps where water comes out of, faucet. So it looks like they're melting, and I'm but in a way that's from a horror movie. Dripping blood, almost. It looked like that, and then my emotions started changing. It was just so wild, and it's oh, but you need to be able to control yourself in these situations and stuff. And it's okay, that's not my point. I do just want to say that that's what my experience was when I was listening to Key Glock, is that during this acid trip, I was enjoying it, and then every time I played Key Glock, things started looking really scary. I mean, even the chairs, oh gosh, it was I was in a horror movie. I was scared. I was so scared. Oh my goodness. And then I was oh, I can't listen to, I have to change the song. And then the trip would go back to normal and I would enjoy it again. Whoo, it was a lot. But anyway, that was one of my first, actually, you know what? Of course, it always starts way earlier than that. The pain you feel when you listen to funny lyrics as a child and you hear someone cuss on a song for the first time and you're I guess it starts from there, actually, where you're yeah, I shouldn't be listening to this. But when it started coming back to me of really, yeah, I shouldn't be listening to this, that was one of the first times when it started again. And then another time, so then I didn't stop completely listening to all of this music. I had to stop listening to Key Glock for a couple of days because I felt traumatized. even though I managed to enjoy the acid trip again, when I stopped listening to him, I had to take a few days off. I was like, no, this is like, I don't, like, I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm kind of scared right now. Not that I thought I'm gonna start tripping again, but I just felt a little overwhelmed and traumatized. So, and I'm not condoning drug use. I'm not condoning drug use, but I am sharing my testimony, experience, my life, my story. And then it doesn't define who I am. That's not who I am. That's what I've done. And that was in the past. And I will definitely share a lot more things like this, you know, like a lot more experiences. I mean, I think it could definitely, I mean, there's other people who can relate, and why not talk about it? And then, yeah, so now, actually, it wasn't even, maybe it was like a year or 2 years later, that I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop listening to Gucci Mane. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop listening to Gucci Mane. And then that's how it started, where I was like, I just found myself deleting chunks of songs at once off my Apple Music. And I have YouTube Premium now, so my source of streaming for music is YouTube Premium or YouTube Music. Because if you get a YouTube Premium subscription, it comes with YouTube Music, which I didn't know. I just thought that, yeah, I'm going to have an ad-free experience on YouTube. So, yeah, that's what YouTube Premium is. But another benefit is that you get YouTube Music. So I'm definitely promoting YouTube. Yeah, and YouTube needs to pay me for what I just said. And then, yeah. So let me go back to the thing about how it's hard to be depressed. Like, it is hard to be depressed. So yeah, when I say it's hard to be depressed, it is. Oh yeah, okay. Another thing that I want to go back to is my prayer letters. So I was writing all these prayer letters to God and just saying how, like, I'm sorry, I was, you know, I quit too soon and all this stuff. And then I was really just pouring out to him. And I mean, I got personal. I don't want people to see the letters. That's how personal I got. And in terms of how I was feeling. And wow, just saying that, it makes me well up a little bit. Almost like want to cry, but I'm so glad that I'm past that. And I never have to go through that depression again. I never had to go through it in the first place. It's just like a lot of things. Yeah, just a lot of things definitely took a bad turn in my life, and I had to repent. You know, like from... Not repent from making the mistake of quitting my job. I mean, like, I only had to do that once. You know, like, I'm not like, yeah, God, I turn away from quitting my job at this company that I worked for. But I had to, gosh, the word repent. God had so much love on me. Okay, yeah, sorry, I kind of lost my point. Let me come back to my point of the prayer letters. Like, I wrote those letters and I was honest with God, and I feel like I was a bit scared to be completely honest with him because I didn't want to seem weak. I didn't want to seem weak to God. I wanted to pretend to be strong to God, and so that he would take me more seriously. So I was like, yeah, let me just like pretend that I'm like, he already knows how I'm actually feeling. And I was like, if I need to focus on what's true, what's good, what's noble, and such things, and speak on those things. So that was where I went wrong, is where I was speaking a lot of negativity over myself. And so that's how I managed to slip into that depression. But then, and of course, not having a job, I was really depressed and stuff because I was worried about when I was going to get a job again. But I was just like, oh, gosh, I'm so weak. I'm just going to actually allow God. I'm just going to allow myself to be honest with God. And not just when I'm going through good things, not just when I'm praising him for my MacBook, and not just when I'm praising him for another day at work, not just when I'm praising him for my beautiful apartment, my last place that I was staying at, not just that, not just those things, but like I'm also gonna talk to God in this season, because I know that I can use it in the future. I know that I can have a testimony for other people. So I was like, I'm just going to write these prayer letters to God and say, God, like I'll say one of the things I said is that I said, this is the worst time of my life. Yeah, that was one of the things I said. And I really meant it. I really believed it. I really believed it. And that became my experience, is that I was going through the worst time of my life. And it's like, gosh, is that the hardest thing she's ever gone through? I mean, I've actually gone through what you could probably say is worse. I've probably definitely gone through worse. I mean, I would say that having death in your family is worse than losing a job. But I felt like I was experiencing a new death. Like someone else died, but it was me. It was me. I felt like I died. And yeah, I was just... So I'm not going to say that it was me alone who got myself out of that depression. It was also the grace of God. But I did have to be more careful with my words. That was my responsibility. My recording got cut because my brother phoned me, and the last time I was speaking on the recording I was crying, and I forgot exactly why I was crying, like specifically what I was talking about, but I do know that it was something about how like it wasn't by just me alone getting myself out of that situation of being depressed, despite not everything going exactly as planned. And so, yes, but yeah. So 2 things that I'll say again is that it is really important, the words that you speak over yourself and over your life. And it's not to say that you have to lie to yourself or be dishonest about the situation, but you definitely can reject certain beliefs, like being scared, for example, like as if being scared and terrified is like it's the way to go. It's the way to go when it's so not the way to go. As if this feeling is the reason that people get successful. Now, I'm not saying that people didn't get themselves out of a situation while they were so depressed and stuff, but actually the reason those people got out of that situation in the first place has a lot to do with the words that they spoke over themselves. So yeah, actually, no matter how you feel, your words are very important. Very, very important. So, yeah, I started thinking, man, I'm stupid for making this mistake. I'm stupid for taking a risk. I'm stupid for being courageous. It's like, no, actually, like, wait. No, that was very courageous what I did. It was courageous. It was one of the most courageous decisions I've ever made in my life, is quitting my dream job and trusting that no matter what comes next, like immediately after, I know that I'm prosperous and that God is just going to do such an amazing, wonderful, beautiful thing that blows my mind. even if I don't see it immediately. So I was willing to take that leap of faith, even if I knew that it meant that part of me knew that I was, what you could say is, I knew that I was taking the risk of losing everything, but I was more interested in just going with what I thought was God telling me to quit my job now. And, I'd rather just take that risk, and if it doesn't work out, well, I wasn't thinking it wasn't going to work out. I really thought it was going to work out, and, well, it didn't work out immediately, but, and things definitely got worse, and again, it's not that it was God's will that things got worse for me, but it's like, nonetheless, even though I got a little off course, and I've said this before in a different podcast, I'll call it, I don't care if this isn't like a, what you call it, like a super official podcast, but it's a podcast to me, so I'm making it a podcast, so it's a podcast. And then I would talk about things about, I'm stupid for making this mistake, but it's actually like, no, I was looking at it the wrong way. While it was a mistake, definitely was a mistake, but I mean, it's like, I don't need to carry that with me for the rest of my life. Like, it was very courageous. I look at it that way now. I think it was better that I took a risk than not taking any risk at all. And now I'm in Bible college, despite the fact that, okay, the risk, it was you jumped too soon, whoopsie. It's like I'm in Bible school now. So that's great. That's so awesome. And it's not that me going through all that stuff and that I did in the past couple of months, it's not to say, God put you through all of that so that he could bring you to Bible school. No, like, he drew me, I was drawn to Bible school anyway, like way before all of this went down. But it's just great to know that despite the fact that this went down, God is still using me, and God is still, like, his plans are still the same, like, we're still doing it. We're still doing the Bible college thing. Just, of course, the way that I went about going to this Bible college, I didn't know this Bible college existed, but I mean, the way that it happened, I didn't see it happening this way, where I was going to apply and go to Bible college like before I get a job first, like I didn't have to have a job first to go to this Bible college. That's such a blessing. That's so awesome. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. That's wonderful. So when I got rejected from the job that I really wanted, like when I got rejected from the other place where if I was going to work there, I'd have to register as self-employed. Honestly, I was like, that would be such a cool move. That would be awesome. That would be great. Then, it's like we really getting this business thing going of, we're getting this whole thing going where you're going to be doing your own taxes and getting there, because I know that there's greater plans in my life that are in the works where registering a business is going to be involved, businesses, and I'm not saying that means that, watch in 2 weeks. I'm just saying this is in the works. I didn't say when, but it's definitely in my lifetime. And yeah, so like I said, it's in the works. Then also, okay, yeah, I completely forgot why I brought that up. The Bible college thing, something to do with that. Yeah, so when I didn't get that job where I'd have to register as self-employed, I was like, okay, that's it's fine because my heart is set on this other job anyway, where I was going to be the production manager for their team. And I was so pumped. Like, honestly, I mean, I actually genuinely believed I got the job. And I was so excited. And I was preparing to start working there. I was, like, mentally preparing. You know, I was, like, just waiting for the offer and everything. But then it fell through. It didn't come. And I was like, wow, I could just go back to that same depression that I was just feeling, like, not too long ago. I mean, I'm talking end of Feb. That's when I came out of this depression. End of Feb this year. And the depression, it started in November. And I quit my job in September. So, yeah, like, then I was just thinking, gosh, I could just go back to how I was feeling before. But it's like, why? If it's I've been feeling so good for all this time and really hopeful and just like feeling like myself again for the most part, and also feeling a little bit brand new, like refreshed. Yeah, refreshed is a great word. One of my friends, I wonder if that's what she meant when she said she feels refreshed. Yeah, we worked at the same company, and she spoke about how she's been feeling refreshed, and I feel the same way. I feel refreshed, but I do want to like chat to her and just like follow up and ask her to elaborate and just see if we are experiencing the same thing. But yeah, I do feel refreshed and stuff, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, I can feel this way, or I can go back to like being depressed. Like, you know, it really will be my choice at this point. Like, it seriously will be. I mean, this is very discouraging. Of course, like, I didn't get the job, but it's like, am I gonna let that be the defining point of my life? Like, oh my gosh, I didn't get the job that I really wanted. I have to put my phone on charge really quickly. I didn't get the job that I really wanted, so now that means I'm a failure and stuff, and, you know, or I must think, oh, okay, yeah, you know, God is punishing me. You know, I didn't get this job because there's some sin that I need to like confess, and or like, okay, God, I don't pray enough, or I didn't have enough faith, so gosh, like I should just give up. Like, no, I mean, gosh, I mean, that could happen if I saw that company as my source, because it's not like I used any money that came from that company to put me through college. So, I mean, I'm doing very well considering the fact that I definitely, I mean, like, God is still with me during this time of me being unemployed, but I'm still going to keep applying myself and putting myself out there, because I know that God doesn't want me to be complacent when I'm in this. And thank goodness I've got something to keep me occupied, like college. But I mean, I know what it's like to not even have that to do. I mean, in the past few months, what I was mostly doing is just crying to God and just talking about how I've ruined my life and how I'm in the worst stage of my life and this really sucks, and praying for him to get me out of here and like get me a job, like get me, like help me. I'm so depressed, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's like, I mean, I was so angry and sad, and it's just like when people would even, I mean, sometimes it was so hard to even read the Bible. Like, I barely read the Bible during that season. And it wasn't to say that, yeah, like, just reading the Bible alone, yeah, oh my gosh, like, woo, my life, everything's changed, wow, I've got everything I want now. No, it was more like, oh man, like, so my part, so God is with me and everything, and this is who he really is. Like, he loves me, and he's not looking at me in the lens of she's a failure, she messed up, like she's a loser, she's a freak, she's stupid. Like, God looks at me the way he looks at Jesus, and trust me, that means he's never disappointed in me. And so I was just like, okay, so if that's how God sees me, I need to get in line. Like, but I want God to do that for me. I want God to do it for me because I'm so drained. So I'm just going to lie in bed and, hope God does it for me. Or, like, I have to actually, like, believe what he says. And, like, just believe it. Because it's like, either I can, this season of suffering can go on for longer, or I can just take God at his word and really believe him and not go through this wilderness for 40 years, and instead it will be an 11-day journey. Now, I'm not saying, okay, in exactly 11 days, I'm out of this wilderness. Well, I'm not in the wilderness anymore, or at least I don't think I am. I don't see myself in a wilderness. So, but I'm just trying to make, like, give some kind of example where it's like, I don't have to be believing I'm a failure as if that's going to help me find a job. Like, that's not a resource that I need to use that's not gas that I need in my tank to motivate me. Like, now I might just, find a job in that state of mind. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but if I'm gonna get it, I think I've said this already, but it's like, if I'm gonna get a job anyway, why am I gonna do it depressed? Like, there's no need for me to feel this way. I mean, life is happening anyway, so I might as well just enjoy it while it happens, and then also take God as his word and realize that as this is the part where I have to be honest with myself and say that if I get laziness is a sin for so many reasons, and I kind of I feel like laziness, it does definitely start with your thoughts and what you think about yourself. And a lot of the laziness is like, I can't. And I feel like for me, when I start believing that stuff about myself, and look, hey, like I just said, I'm in my first year of Bible school. And before that, I still have so much to learn. I'm not saying, gosh, this is gospel. I'm not sharing the gospel. I'm not sharing the gospel. So please, read the Bible for yourself and get to know God and have a personal relationship with God for yourself, and not through me. But I mean, I do definitely want to be a beacon of hope and a light. Of course, that's me, that's who I am, but I'm not God. So I cannot say, this isn't gonna, of course, no, I'm not saying, wow, the person, whoever's listening to this thinks, wow, does she think she's God? Or, wow, I think she's God. None of that, but I am just saying that I'm not gonna get everything that I'm saying. It's not God. I'm not sharing the gospel in the sense of, I could be wrong about some things. Oh, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. Because I am trying to share the gospel a little bit. But I am trying to say that I could get something a little bit wrong in terms of what my perception about laziness. Literally, I just said I'm in my first year of Bible college. And also, I'm going to be learning for the rest of my life, which is awesome. Because I love continuous improvement and upgrades and promotion. And yeah, so, and abundance and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the thing about, where was I? Yeah, so my perception of laziness, it could be a little off. That's the point that I'm trying to make. But so far, what I understand about laziness is that it definitely starts in the mind and what you think about yourself. and the thing about saying you can't do something. Now, I'm not saying you're lazy if you are literally, you haven't done every single thing. That means it's because you're lazy. Like, you have, I'm not saying that, but I am saying if you have something that you're passionate about, you really like, and you just do no effort to go after it because you say that, well, like, it's a lot of work. It's definitely, I mean, that sounds like laziness to me. It sounds like laziness. Like, so you're not even going to take one step? Like, you're not even going to download the app on your phone, the music making app, me, aka, because I want to make music. I definitely want to make music, but I got to start somewhere. I got to take one step at least, and then another step and another step. But I mean, if I'm not going to take any steps, and the only thing is where I'm just pondering about how great it would be if I was making music and producing music and sharing music to the world instead of just recording it on my notes, my voice memo app on my iPhone. Another thing I'm grateful for. So, I mean, like, I can keep thinking about how great it will be for one day, but it's like, oh, that one day does start with at least downloading the app where you make beats. That's just like an example. It's an example. I mean, for you, whoever's listening, is like, it could be anything else. It doesn't have to be making music, but I'm just giving an example of what it could be. And so, yeah, I mean, that's one example. And my YouTube channel, as I speak, I've only got 13 subscribers, but I know that I want many more subscribers, and I want to get paid by YouTube. Like, I want it to be a stream of income. And I've always, like, I mean, since I was a kid, I mean, I would literally talk to myself in the mirror in this fantasy, in this, like, little world, this world that I was making a YouTube video. And while my brother was in the room a lot of the time, so he got to witness that growing up. That's fun for him. And hi, baby. My baby nephew is up. So, yeah. Anyway, so, but I'm not really too concerned if my videos and, like, listening audio things are a bit all over the place and stuff. I'm going after this YouTube thing. Like, I'm passionate about it. Like, I like it. And I've always wanted to do it. So even if the videos are not, like, perfect and exactly where I want them to be at, and I mean, I'm not even recording a video, I'm recording a voice thing. It's like, at least I'm making some kind of effort to what I want to be doing, to what I like. At least I'm preparing myself. At least I'm trying, instead of just keeping it in my head. Like, I know that what you think in your head, your actions will tend to follow, but, like, keeping it in my head, when I say that, the keeping it in my head that I'm talking about is where it's like it literally stays there and then it dies there. Like, so the seed comes there and then it just doesn't, like, land. Like, it dies. Or it does land and then it gets taken away immediately. And that seed, for me, one of those seeds would be, okay, so the seed that gets planted is like, yeah, like, producing music. And then the thing of it getting snatched away, of, like, yeah, like, download the app, like, start, like, get some good headphones, or just, like, even maybe just watch a little tutorials on how to make your own beats, like, really, really make your own beats, and stuff, and, like, detailed tutorials, terminology explanation, I want to know more and everything. But it's like, so yeah, that's the seed. That's the thing of making music, producing music. And then the part where the seed gets snatched away or doesn't even land is that would be the thinking of, like, I'm so tired right now, I can't download the app, like, I'll download it another time. Or maybe not even that, because it's not to say that you must jump to do everything immediately that comes to your mind. And I'm talking from experience when I say that. But it's like, okay, so then when are you going to download the app? You know, like if you tie right now, like, are you going to download it in an hour? Set an alarm maybe to remind you to download the app. You know, so that that thought that comes, like, speak over it, and then just hold yourself accountable a little bit. Or maybe then just be like, oh no, let me just download the app quickly. It's not going to take long. And okay, I do just want to give a different example of where the seed of, oh, okay, yeah, making music, wow, that sounds like something I'd really love to do. The part where it gets snatched away could also be, wow, it's just hard. And I said that already. Well, it's just hard, so I guess I just can't do it. Or like, I might be a little rusty at first. I'm not going to sound perfect. So I'm just, maybe not. And then you don't do it. And then you keep just telling yourself that's you're allowing the seed to get snatched away. And no, I'm just going to stop doing that to myself. So I've downloaded the app. The music making app. And I mean, I definitely want to do it. And like with this YouTube thing, I mean, I made a cover for my podcast, and it's not exactly how I want it to be, but it's like, I was like, let me just do the best that I can do for now. But I know that, okay, I can at least give myself the grace to come back and like upgrade it and make a different cover. I think that's a lot of the stuff that maybe scares people, or at least definitely scares me, is where I feel like I'm afraid that it's not going to come out exactly how I want it to come out. So let me rather just not at least do anything, because it's not going to come out great. Like seriously, the cover that I've got on this YouTube podcast, this YouTube video thing, it's not exactly how I want it to look. But when I made it at the time, like I put my all into it. But I allowed myself room for growth in the future. And I think people just need to allow themselves room for growth for their future. Because then it's like, because we're not going to do everything perfectly all the time. So that makes people paralyzed to do anything at all. I mean, at least try, and then you can improve. Like it's called practicing. It's called practicing, but you put your best into your practicing. And then you also remember that while you're doing this and everything, that God loves you, and he's not looking at you like, gosh, like you're supposed to be in this tax bracket already, and you made that other mistake before, so I'm still seeing you from your other mistakes that you made. That's how I'm approaching you. Like when God looks at us, he sees his son. And this video is, I am talking to Christians. I'm definitely speaking to Christians. Like anyone can listen to this, but I'm speaking to Christians. So that's my audience. That's my target audience. I don't know who's actually listening to these things, but my target audience is Christians. So I'm not even going to be worried about, I do want to be I want to be very simple with my diction or my choice of words, and so that everyone can listen and understand. But definitely my target audience is for Christians. So Christians, it is our responsibility to take God at his word. And I'm not saying that means, yeah, I've got it 100% right. But I'm not going to, I'm just go after what you want to go after. Just go after your passions. And, if you don't get it perfectly 100% right while you're doing it, just know that, well, it's part of the process. I mean, I'm seeing myself as very wealthy. But it doesn't mean, oh, okay, cool. So the only proof that I have that I the exact way that I see myself is I need to be doing everything exactly how I see myself in the future now. I must be doing it all now. Like now I can only be making this video like as someone who has 1 million subscribers. And I feel like that kind of stuff paralyzes people. And it's like I'm doing this with 13 subscribers, but I am seeing myself having way more subscribers. And yeah, okay, I definitely do want to cut this short now because I feel like I could talk about this more, but I do want to also try and structure my videos a little bit better. But I do, when I speak, I didn't prepare beforehand. So I didn't prepare beforehand. Like it's I speak and then I'm like, yeah, I feel like I really should just make a recording right now because I love talking. But I believe that this video was structured enough. I kind of do like this style and I like it, but I do hope that it lands well. I mean, that is my goal. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this now and bless you, and just don't forget that, gosh, like, honestly, we cannot be holding ourselves to, like, holding on so tightly to our mistakes, because isn't that also a form of idolatry? Is like having such a holding on, like, just attaching ourselves so much to these mistakes. Also, I'm learning more about what the word idolatry means. Just the other day in my Bible college, I was learning that the word idolatry literally means false image. And I mean, yeah, I definitely have a false image if I'm holding on to my past mistakes. So I do see even holding on to that as idolatry. Oh my gosh, sin everywhere. Everything's sinning. Wow, you sinner. You're holding yourself to your past mistakes, you sinner. Gosh. So I'm just not going to do that. And I don't see myself as stupid. I'm not there anymore. I'm not going through that depression. And I'm not to say that there isn't temptation for that to come through. So my life is not over just because I didn't get the jobs that I wanted. And those aren't the only 2 jobs I've applied for. I've applied for a decent package of jobs since November, of which I didn't get any of them, of course. But only, I mean, I am putting my focus into, like I said, into jobs where I'm not just applying for the sake of applying, just so that I can not have, so that I can feel better about myself. For the rest of my life, I only want to put focus on things that I really believe matters. And I will reap a really great harvest from doing that. And I mean, I've done that before, of course. It's not to say this is the first time I'm doing this, but it's like, I don't want to lose sight of that. And I definitely lost sight of that after I quit my job. I mean, because I've had such a sense of stability from there. And now, without that, I didn't even feel like a woman anymore. I didn't feel like a woman because it's like, yeah, I didn't feel like a woman. I'm just being honest. That's how I felt. I'm not saying that was true. I'm just being honest about how I felt. And if that job, which isn't even $1 million a month, if I put if that job, which is, again, was one of my dream jobs, an amazing job, and the company is great. I love that place. I'll always cherish them. I mean, but if I let that job define me and it's not even paying me $1 million a month, and I'm saying, like, it's not even yes, it's my dream job, but like it's not a business that I own. For example, it's not a book that I wrote, and it's not a podcast I produced. So it's not my own thing. It's not my own gig I've got going for me. If I put so much of my value into that job, that means that yes, I'm definitely not a woman. Like, I'm definitely worthless. I'm not good, because that job is so small compared to who God is. So it's like, if I let that job make me think this is what makes me a person, is having status. And I'm not talking about fame. I wasn't famous. I mean, of course. But I'm talking about, it gave me a sense of, like, it made me feel like I had status. And it gave me a sense of security. And now that now that I lost it, I was like, gosh, like, I realized that I definitely did put more of my worth into the job than how I cared about how God sees me. And God sees me as way more than just that job. So I was like, oh, okay, so it means that, so my best days are not behind me, even though what some people would say, completely messed up. Oh, so my best days are not behind me. Like, I still have a chance. Whew, thank God. Literally. So I'm gonna hold on to that. No matter what the day wants to tell me, no matter what the weather forecast says. Yeah. Anyway, have a great day.